You've always believed it was your mother who kept you anchored to your past. The moments of pain, rejection, or absence, those memories feel like invisible chains that hold you back, even now. But what if I told you the person keeping you stuck isn't actually your mother? What if the thing holding you back isn't even a person at all, but rather a powerful image that your own mind has carefully preserved? Imagine you're carrying a suitcase everywhere you go. It's heavy, cumbersome, but strangely familiar. You've carried it for so long that it feels like a part of you. But have you ever paused to look inside this suitcase? Have you ever truly asked yourself whose belongings you're carrying around each day? When you finally open it, you realize that nothing inside truly belongs to you. Instead, the suitcase is filled with old expectations, silent disappointments, wounds that were never yours to carry, yet somehow ended up in your possession. Carl Jung called this invisible luggage the mother complex, an unconscious shadow that quietly guides your decisions, your relationships, even your self-worth, without you ever truly noticing. You think you're reacting to the present moment, but really you're responding to echoes of a past you've never fully examined. And now I ask you gently, but directly, whose life are you actually living? Perhaps without realizing it, you've been walking through your days carrying your mother's unresolved story instead of your own. Maybe it's not her presence, but her absence, her unmet promises, her silent judgments that shaped how you see yourself in the world around you. But the question remains clear and simple. How much longer will you carry someone else's pain before you decide to set it down? Today, right now, might be the first moment you truly see this invisible burden for what it is. Not something forced upon you by another, but something you now have the power and responsibility to release. You've been carrying more than just memories of your mother. Deep inside, hidden beneath layers of routine and familiarity, you've also carried expectations, wounds, and responsibilities that never belonged to you in the first place. Like an invisible suitcase you've carried so long, its weight feels normal, so normal that you rarely stop to question why it's so heavy, or if it truly belongs to you. Pause for just a moment and gently consider, how many of your current choices, feelings, and relationships are actually yours? How many have simply been shaped by what someone else needed you to be, to feel, or to carry? You've become so accustomed to holding on to these expectations that you no longer see the difference between your own desires and the echoes of your mother's unmet needs. Imagine it like this: a painting you've been tirelessly working to complete your entire life. You keep adding brushstrokes, adjusting colors, and refining the details, desperate to capture a perfect image of your mother. Yet the more you paint, the less familiar her face becomes. Gradually, the lines blur, colors mix, and you realize that the portrait you've created no longer resembles her at all. Instead, it has become a distorted reflection of what you wished she was, or perhaps feared she truly was. But what if you step back from this canvas just for a moment? What if you allowed yourself to see clearly, without judgment, without expectation, that the person you've been painting wasn't ever your mother? It's simply an image shaped by longing, resentment, idealization, a complex creation born out of your unmet emotional needs. And as painful as it might be, the first step towards healing is seeing this painting for exactly what it is: an image, not reality. Now consider what happens when you stop reacting to these projections. For years, you've believed others were hurting you, neglecting you, misunderstanding you. But what if every conflict, every hurt feeling, is actually pointing back to wounds that were already there, deep inside you, waiting quietly to be seen? Others aren't causing your pain. They're simply touching it, unknowingly exposing the shadows you've carried within. Carl Jung called these shadows the rejected parts of yourself you've hidden away, buried beneath layers of pretending and perfection. They are not enemies you must defeat. They're simply wounded aspects of your inner world waiting patiently to be acknowledged. When you cease reacting automatically, you become like a mirror that's suddenly removed from the wall. Without your usual reflections, those around you, and more importantly you, are left to confront their own unacknowledged shadows directly. This isn't about blame, it's about clarity. It's a gentle, powerful realization that the darkness you see isn't in the people around you. It's within the hidden corners of your own heart. In that moment of quiet realization, silence becomes your greatest ally. Imposed silence isn't coldness or indifference. It's simply choosing to conserve the energy you've spent for years maintaining roles that no longer serve you. Can you remember the last time you allowed yourself this quiet luxury, free from responding, explaining, or trying to meet expectations that aren't yours? This silence is like finally taking off a coat that's too tight. The relief is immediate and profound, as if you're breathing deeply for the very first time. Imagine your life as a journal that has always been opened wide, pages exposed for anyone to read, critique, and judge. Now gently imagine closing that journal, holding it softly in your own hands, and choosing to write stories that belong exclusively to you. Stories written from a place of self-respect, not a place of seeking validation or approval. Yet, there's still another hidden trap you must confront: the invisible loyalty you've unknowingly promised to uphold. Deep within, you might feel that surpassing your mother, moving beyond her struggles, her limitations, would somehow be an act of betrayal. But ask yourself honestly, is it truly a betrayal to live the life she couldn't? Or is it, in fact, the highest form of honoring her? You see, breaking free from these silent loyalties is not rejection or abandonment. It's evolution. It's a courageous step towards choosing the life that aligns with your own truth, rather than continuing to play out a story you never consciously wrote. Consider yourself like a radio that's finally been tuned clearly to the right frequency after years of static. For the first time, you hear your own voice, clear and true, free from interference. The static, the inherited fears, judgments, and expectation, is finally quiet. So, let me ask you directly, gently but honestly, how much longer will you sacrifice your authenticity to remain loyal to an outdated narrative? How much longer will you repeat the unfulfilled dreams or unresolved pains of your mother before deciding it's finally time to write your own story? It's crucial to understand that honoring your mother doesn't mean endlessly repeating her life. Real honor comes from transcending her struggles, transforming inherited pain into genuine growth. You can hold gratitude for what she could give while still choosing a path she never took. True healing happens when you stop waiting for someone else to grant you permission to be yourself, when you realize that permission was always yours to give. And now, as you sit quietly with this insight, ask yourself gently but with full clarity, are you ready to set down this invisible suitcase filled with burdens you never chose? Are you willing to finally close the pages written by others and begin to write your own, without guilt, without shame, without apology? Because ultimately, the greatest tribute you can offer to your mother, or anyone who's shaped your past, is to fully embrace and honor your own life, not out of resentment or rebellion, but out of love and profound respect for the person you've always had the potential to become. In this moment of quiet honesty, perhaps you're already feeling the first gentle pull of freedom. Freedom from the burden you've carried, freedom from loyalties that no longer serve you, and freedom to finally, clearly, and lovingly choose yourself. You've spent countless years waiting for someone else to change, someone else to heal, someone else to finally show up for you in the way you always hoped they would. You've carried this quiet expectation so deeply that you've forgotten what it truly means to rely on yourself. But right now, ask yourself gently and honestly, how much longer are you willing to wait? Here lies your moment of true awakening. It's not dramatic, not loud or sudden. It's soft, subtle yet incredibly powerful. It happens precisely at the moment you stop waiting. The moment you stop looking outward for validation, love, or acceptance is exactly when you begin the profound journey inward. And there, at that quiet intersection of surrender and self-recognition, you meet someone unexpected yet deeply familiar. The person you have always hoped would arrive, yourself. You've spent so much time believing that your happiness depends on someone else's transformation, your mother changing, your partner becoming someone new, your friends finally understanding you. But in this quiet clarity, you finally see the truth. Real healing has never required anyone else's participation. It has always depended entirely on your own willingness to see clearly and compassionately who you truly are beyond all external expectations. Imagine a door softly closing, not harshly, not angrily, just gently shutting behind you. For so long, that door remained open, letting in opinions, demands, needs, and expectations from the outside world. Now, with that quiet click, it finally closes, and in that gentle silence, you discover something remarkable. The room you stand in has never gone dark. The illumination was never truly lost. It was merely overshadowed by your dependence on outside light. Now, as external voices fade, your inner glow becomes vividly clear, distinct, radiant. The door has closed, yes, but the light within you was never extinguished. It simply shines brighter now, as you are no longer distracted or diminished by reflections from elsewhere. Do you see the paradox? You thought that closing this door would isolate you, leave you alone in darkness. Instead, it has done precisely the opposite. It's brought you directly to your most authentic self. And in that authenticity, you realize that loneliness was always just an illusion, born of seeking fulfillment outside yourself. Ask yourself carefully, what were you truly waiting for? Was it someone else's apology, someone else's validation, or perhaps someone else's permission to live fully as yourself? And what if that permission was always yours to give? This is the quiet yet life-changing revelation. You've spent so long looking outward that so you missed the person quietly waiting within, patient, understanding, and infinitely resilient. In this silent revelation, you find something invaluable: self-companionship. You realize, perhaps for the very first time, that you've never truly been alone. Deep inside, beneath layers of forgotten pain and unmet expectations, there has always existed someone who never abandoned you, never turned away, never stopped quietly believing in your capacity for healing. That someone is you. Not the you defined by others' projections, but the authentic, unconditional presence of your inner self. Carl Jung spoke of the journey toward individuation, this gentle yet courageous return to your core identity, free from inherited expectations or illusions. Individuation is not a rejection of the world around you, but a conscious return to the truth that the completeness you seek can only be found within. It's understanding that every relationship, every interaction, every unmet need was merely reflecting back to you the relationship you truly sought, the relationship with yourself. How clearly do you now recognize this inner presence? The gentle observer patiently watching you navigate pain, confusion, and longing, always silently supporting, never judging. Can you feel how profoundly comforting it is to finally reconnect with this deeper self? It's as if a warm, familiar hand has softly placed itself upon your shoulder, reassuring you that everything you ever sought externally has always been quietly waiting within your own heart. So, as the door softly closes behind you, perhaps you wonder, what will change now? Everything. But not because the outside world suddenly shifted, rather because you finally reclaimed your inner strength, your inner clarity, your inner peace. You've stopped being the victim of circumstance and become the gentle yet powerful creator of your own reality. Take a moment now, just quietly, and ask yourself, are you willing to finally embrace this gentle solitude? Are you ready to meet and fully accept the one person who's always been there, patiently waiting for you to turn inward? Let this realization settle gently but deeply within you. Your deepest healing has never required someone else's permission or participation. It simply required your own quiet courage to finally stop looking outside and begin looking clearly within. This quiet revelation is your awakening. This is your moment of self-recognition. You've stepped into the quiet space where shadows are no longer enemies, expectations no longer prisons, and solitude no longer loneliness. Instead, you've found freedom, the profound freedom of being fully present with yourself. And now, having truly seen and accepted yourself perhaps for the first time, you begin a journey that no longer depends on others changing or circumstances shifting, because the most powerful transformation has already occurred quietly and clearly within you. Only when you stop being the easy choice for others do they finally recognize the true value of your presence. For so long, you've quietly allowed your worth to be measured by your endless availability, giving more than you ever received. But what if, right now, you could clearly see that stepping back isn't losing them? It's reclaiming yourself. Take a moment and honestly reflect. How often have you given too much, too easily, hoping someone would finally see your worth? How many times have you silently accepted less than you deserved, believing that was the price for connection? If something deep within you just shifted, if a subtle yet profound truth gently surfaced, don't rush past this feeling. Pause, breathe, and stay with it. Give yourself permission to sit quietly for just 1 minute and simply acknowledge what's happening inside. No immediate solutions, no forced clarity, just honest presence. If you felt something meaningful awaken within you today, share your insight in the comments below. Your words could quietly inspire someone else's journey toward self-discovery. And if you're feeling a gentle curiosity about what lies ahead, consider subscribing. Because no one else can walk this path back to yourself, but you never have to walk it alone.